This is professional level stuff, guys. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eddie, and today I have a quick review video for you guys. The team over at Kingbolen reached out to me and they wanted me to review their latest Volkswagen diagnostic tool, the Soloscan Volkswagen. And they just asked me to share my opinions with you guys. I'm not being paid for this. They just sent me the scanner, so rest assured you are going to get an honest review out of this. Also, I started my own Amazon affiliate store. So if you guys see anything on my videos that maybe you're interested in that tool or maybe something that I used to clean, etc., I'm putting all the stuff that I purchased on Amazon on that store, including this Soloscan tool. So if you guys are interested, take a look. I do make a small commission on it if you do. It does not cost you any extra money, but all that stuff helps for me to make more videos for you guys. Up until now, you see me use tools like Carista and OBD11. I got nothing bad to say about them. They are both great, honestly. But there are some things about them. Not everyone wants to do custom coding. And also, most people don't like a yearly subscription, which obviously comes with Carista and OBD11. However, everyone wants to know what's wrong with their car when their gauge cluster lights up like a Christmas tree. So that's where this comes in. Take a look there. So there's a scanner. It comes in a hard shell case. So nice and sturdy. The box does come with instructions in all kinds of languages, I have to say, but it's pretty straightforward. It's just the initial setup, basically. So what I want to know now is that if, for the purposes of diagnostics, can this Soloscan Volkswagen tool keep up with the big boys? Let's find out on my Golf R. All right, so the first step per their instructions was to download the EDIAG app. That is this bad boy here. I already downloaded it. Once you have it, go ahead and open the app. And I believe at this point, it's when it would ask you to go ahead and create a new account. Go ahead and create your account. And once you have it all set up, you're going to come down here to the bottom right. You see the little person there? I'm going to click on that bad boy. And at the top, you're going to have My Devices. You're going to go in there and you're going to activate your OBD2 dongle, which is this bad boy here. In the instruction packet that's included in here, it's going to be a sticker with both the serial number and the activation code for it. You're going to go ahead and put that in here. And in about 10 seconds, it'll give you a message that it is activated and ready to go. After I did that, I went to the card at the bottom here. Now, I don't know if you have to do this or not because it wasn't in the instructions, but I just ran into it and I said, you know what, it doesn't hurt. But you see the little shopping cart? You're gonna go in. What I did is I went in there and up here I hit on European, obviously. And these are all the cards that it can read codes off of and you can download software for it. So I went ahead and downloaded the software for Volkswagen, which is what I have here. And these are all the details as to what it can do with Volkswagen. So yeah, I think that now we're ready to work with it. Okay guys, so right here for the first time, I am trying to connect it to the car. The dongle is already connected to my car. The ignition is on. So let's see if we can get it to talk to our car. I don't know how to do it. Let's see, all systems diagnostics. Let's take a look here. Okay, so it took a little bit, but it picked up my VIN, and now it's actually attempting to pull all this information from it. All right, so okay, what's this health report? By the way, guys, I know they list all the stuff that it does on their listing on Amazon. I honestly did not look at it. I didn't want to look at it because I wanted it as raw of an impression to share with you guys here. All right, here you go. So it's going through all the modules. If you guys are familiar with VCDS or whatever it's called, like you know what these O1 is for the engine, O2 is transmission, O3 is brake, etc. That's what these numbers are. These are different modules throughout the car. I have to say that so far this thing is pretty cool. Wow, this thing is finding a bunch of codes. Yeah, I was looking away. I want to say that it was maybe 3.5 minutes that it took. Okay, so I guess now it'll give me all my trouble codes. All right, so there's no DTCs on the car. Let's see. Read data stream. Ooh, is this live data? Please tell me this is live data. Oh my gosh. This is no. Is this live data for everything? Clutch. Guys, this right here is a game changer. The fact that you have live data on something that is so affordable and you don't have a yearly subscription, this is big. I wish I knew what these analysis ones were, but oh man. This Just look up camshaft, see what it does. Oh, of course not. Oh my God, there's 436 channels that I can find in here. No way. How cool. Actuation test, what do you check? We're gonna cancel that. Okay, but we can do that. I'm sorry guys, this is taking a while, but I have not messed with this at all. RPM. Can you select multiples? Oh yes, you can. Okay, so let's do engine RPM and see if I find anything else that gear position. That's all for the transmission. This is all transmission related. That is something in German that I do not know. All right, let's see what shows up. Okay, well, you can see live data here. By the way, I have this set up in metric, so you can have it in standard if you'd like, or imperial. Adaptations. You can do adaptations. No way! Hey! Dyno mode! I have no idea what any of this stuff is. Basic settings of transmission. I am not messing with any of that because my stuff is tuned and I don't want to risk that. Oh! Okay, so you go into the module. In this case, now I'm in engine. So that explains why earlier I was seeing nothing but transmission stuff, because I was in the transmission side by complete accident. All right, so once you have the health report, each of these numbers are the module that you want to look into, right? So for example, I want to look at the engine electronics, which is this 01. We're going to hit that. It's communicating. Blah, 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 blah. Yes, that's me. Okay, cool. So now we can look at all kinds of stuff related to the engine. Let's look for any trouble codes, which it already said that there were 2. So let's see what it says. Data bus error, value received, and then auto signal stuck lean. Well, that's interesting because none of these have triggered a check engine light. So I wonder if these are ghost codes that it's picking up on. That is so cool. Yeah, because again, I don't have a check engine light going on, and I still have the factory catalytic. All right, but let's see. I want to see something. Basic settings. What do you have here? Oh my God, this is just like, oh no way. You can drain the fuel tank, timing chain lengthening, reset after replacement. This is so cool. Timing chain lengthening, correction after other work. Guys, this is incredible. I've only seen this in VCDS. I have not seen this in, I think that I've seen it in OBD11, but in the highest tier of their offerings, like the pro level stuff that you have to pay in the hundreds of dollars. Look at this stuff. How cool is this? These are all resets and like calibrations and whatnot. Cam adjustment check. What? Test of camshaft adjustment intake. No way. So you can adjust the base not running. Okay, yeah, because I'm not running that. You can actually do all this stuff. No, dude. This is so freaking cool. All right, so let's just say that I want to look at live data, right? So if I want to look at live data, we're going to go to the read data stream. Here we go. All right, look down here at the bottom. You see this? I've selected 0 of a total of 476 channels within the engine electronics module that I can select so I can monitor. So let's say, for example, the engine is off right now. So I shouldn't see anything, but let's look at for example, our pedal position. Let's see what it says. Yep, that's exactly what it should be, right around 15% for a default not sitting in the car. Let's see. I wonder if this thing can see the camshaft. Guys, you can literally sit here for a couple hours, maybe more, looking through all the stuff that you can see and do with this thing, which is great. Like, this is professional level stuff, guys. What is all this? Let's see what happens when I select multiple channels. So coolant temperature at engine outlet, coolant temperature at engine start, coolant temperature at radiator outlet, actual value. Let's see if there's a difference. Bruh. Now guys, keep in mind, the engine is off right now, but oh, this is so cool. There it is, camshaft adjustment. Okay, that's what I want to see. I want to see actual value on the exhaust, camshaft adaptation, exhaust bank 1 phase control, camshaft adjustment, specified value, and the actual value for the exhaust camshaft. Okay, so that is the exhaust camshaft right there, which, yeah, right now as the engine is off, you should be seeing 0 and 0, right? For the, no, wait, look, you can even record this stuff as you do it. Okay, what about intake camshaft? because I want to do an experiment with this stuff. Here it is. Camshaft adjustment, intake bank 1, actual value versus the specified value. So specified value is, you can call it the target value, basically where the computer wants the intake camshaft timing to be. And then actual value is what the position sensor reads. So let's take a look at that. Show 0. Okay, well, what happens when I turn on the car? By the way, I'm sorry, I just got a new camera and I don't yet have a tripod, so I'm having to do all this kind of rigging right now. Hold on, let's see what happens when I start the car. Okay, so you see that there, that's the deviation. So the computer is asking for the intake camshaft to be at 15 degrees, and you see that's how little it's hunting around. Looks like it's going between like mid 14s to low 15s, like that's not bad. Okay, now keep in mind the engine is warmed up. I've seen it worse during cold. Okay, so now that we saw that on the intake side, let's take a look at the exhaust side, because that's going to be my experiment right there. Camshaft adjustment, exhaust actual value versus camshaft adjustment, specified value. Okay, so these here are the intake side. Look at how much is hunting versus the exhaust side, actual value. That is dead even where it should be. So, all right, let's do a little experiment then. Okay, so what I want to do now is an experiment, because so what happens is, if you guys know, but the intake camshafts on these cars, a lot of times it's difficult to determine if it's the magnet or the camshaft adjuster itself that's going bad. And you always want it to be the magnet, because the camshaft adjuster is one piece with the camshaft. So that means you have to replace the camshaft. And that is a very expensive ordeal. So now that we saw my numbers and we see that there's deviation on the intake cams, let's use the Soloscan tool now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap the magnets and see if now that deviation follows to the exhaust side. All right, guys, I'm very excited about this tool. I would really, especially for the price, I was not expecting it to have access to all those channels. Again, that's something that you typically only see in higher dollar EDIAG tools. And yeah, like this thing is less than $100. It's very affordable. So it already blew my expectations out the water. All right, so now to the experiment, let me show you. So this right here is what we're talking about right here. These are the magnets for the camshaft adjusters. This is the one for the intake, this is the one for the exhaust. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to swap the magnets to see if the deviation that we saw on the intake cams goes over to the exhaust. If it goes over to the exhaust, then that means we have a magnet that is on its way out. If it stays on the intake cam, then I may be looking at replacing this camshaft in the near future. The deviation was still within 1 degree, which is not bad at all. But again, if we can isolate the issue at the magnet now, I have a new magnet. I can just go ahead and replace it now. But if it stays, then I know that I have to start saving up for the parts to replace that camshaft. See the things that you can learn when you have the proper diagnosis tools? Oh, one thing that's very important is that you do not ever want to just swap the harnesses. I don't even know if you have enough reach on the harnesses. It actually looks like you do. It's this one and this one. But do not ever cross them if you are able to, because the exhaust cam runs at a different position than the intake camshaft at most of the time. So swapping them, all you're doing is swapping the signal, and you are intentionally causing the engine to screw up. So don't do that. You actually have to take the magnets out, swap them, and connect them. The connectors, the long one needs to stay on this side, the short one needs to stay over there. That's the only way you're going to do this test correctly. There you go. There you go. All right, exhaust side out. There you go. One thing you want to know is this right here. That's the plunger that actually regulates the oil pressure in the adjuster. You see this one has free play. This one sounds good. So leave it there. Let's go ahead and work out the intake side now. Go out this way. Yep, there you go. Aha. So here's the intake side now. So let's test this one. Seems free. We have for the exhaust. All right, they sound the same. So here we go. Now we swapped them. This is the exhaust side. We're gonna put it on over in the intake side now. All right guys, so I swapped the magnets like you saw, and now I'm gonna go ahead and start the car. We're gonna watch those values on our Soloscan, and we're gonna see if that oscillation moved to the exhaust cam now. All right, so we are in the engine now. Let's go to read data stream. Here we go. Remember, it was somewhere down here. There you go. Camshaft exhaust actual value. Camshaft exhaust specified value, and then further down was the camshaft intake. There you go. Camshaft intake, actual value, and specified value. All right, let's see. All right, well, there you go. There's the exhaust, and that is rock steady right there. And then the intake side, the oscillation is there. So again, this is not an alarming amount of deviation, but the fact that I swapped the magnets, that tells me right there that the problem was not with the magnets whatsoever. It is definitely cam related. So it's something I'm going to keep an eye on. That's all really, because I mean, it works just fine and the deviation is minimal. But hello Soloscan for being able to show me all this information. All right guys, so I don't know if it came through on the audio or not because I was right in front of the engine. It's pretty loud. Unfortunately, the oscillation of the camshaft did not move when I swapped the magnets. It stayed on the intake camshaft. So that tells me that there's absolutely nothing wrong with my magnets. So that's how you check for that. But thankfully in my case, the oscillation that was happening was very minor. It was less than 1 degree, which is perfectly acceptable. It is just something that I'm gonna have to monitor just every few months, run this test and see what it looks like. You know, I don't have to swap them anymore now that I know that the magnets are fine, but I can at least just look at the values and make sure that they are still somewhat staying in the same range. Once it starts going into 2 degrees, 3 degrees, that is an increasing problem, and at that point I need to replace that camshaft ASAP. But for now, again, it's just something that I'm going to keep an eye on. But with all that said, what's most important here is the fact that this Soloscan Volkswagen EDIAG tool worked phenomenally. You know, nowadays it's really not a big deal, the fact that you can see all these values, but the fact that you can see these values without having to pay a yearly membership, number one, and number two, the fact that just to buy it to begin with is so cheap. By the way, the app that I used, free. So really the only thing you're paying for is the dongle, and you know, they update the software on their end, and you know, as long as you keep your app updated, you're gonna have access to all that stuff. And again, no yearly membership. And I think that that's incredible. I think that this is absolutely a good product, and I would definitely recommend it to you guys. All right, now as far as the user interface, I think that, you know, I mean, and obviously that's going to be relative from one person to another, but like, I'm okay with having more of a raw data than a pretty interface. Some people that is important. So, you know, just keep that in mind, that this definitely, you guys saw all the values that I was looking at, and, you know, if you don't know what you're looking for, it can absolutely be overbearing. But you know, once you come and educate yourself, the fact that you can just buy one so cheaply, you can educate yourself with time and learn what all that stuff is, and really, like, you can just look for the stuff that you need and you can disregard the rest, right? So yeah, for the price, this is amazing. So yeah, I highly recommend it. Again, guys, there is an affiliated link in the description. Again, I make a little bit of money on it. It does not cost you any extra for it. Thank you, Kingbolen, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next time.